Welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode number 25. The show where we talk Linux and we bring Linux news, Linux goodness, Linux stories, updates, distributions. We try to educate those on Linux that may want to get into it or don't know too much about it or just like to have fun with it or want to use it on a professional level. I mean, basically what I said is we just cover everything that we can think of. I'm a Linux noob still. But the way we do the show is I bring on a Linux expert, our Linux maven, the door-to-door geek, Steve McLaughlin. You should know him by now. Hey, Steve, what's up?
Some good stuff happened today, and I felt like, I better watch out because like a car might hit me because usually good stuff doesn't happen like this.
Wow. And I got to just like preface the show. On the pre-show, Dor was just giddy as a little schoolgirl. He's making little squeaky noises. He says, I have a secret, jumping all around, and he won't tell me what it is until I started the show. So I started as soon as possible. Tell us, man, what's up today?
Well, the first thing I'll tell you is the person who knew ahead of you was SMD Steve. Because when I redid my Droid X, for some reason, I lost your personal phone number because I wanted to call you up before you did daily, give you a heads up, get your juices flowing, but it didn't work out like that. I was too late. So
you're moving to Florida.
No. Trust me, that would have happened a long time ago if I could.
What?
I got my hands on the preeminent device that nobody got their hands on.
Get out of here. No way. You're a friggin' man. You are the man. Super
and
jealous.
You just saw how fast that thing started, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
I was sick.
That exceeds what any thought that I had that you have. Okay, for those of you who don't know and listening to the audio, Dor's just holding up in front of the screen the Google Chrome OS notebook that they sent out to special people like Dor.
Now I want you to see if you can see this little bit of an animation. It's going to be hard to see.
Yeah, I see it. What does that log out?
Yeah, when it logs out, like the whole screen does a comp is like effect where it like fades back.
And then it shows your picture.
Yeah, because it has a built-in webcam too.
Dude, it's so awesome, man. How did you do it? Hey, if I sign up now, you think I'll get one?
It's still up. It's still active. It's still there. Just Google Chrome OS pilot program, and you'll get right to the link.
Dude, that's so amazing. All right, well, tell us a little bit. Man, I'm so jealous. Tell us a little about them.
If you go, seriously, when I got home, the box was sitting at my door. I saw my name on it. I thought my wife bought me something for Christmas. So I just, being a good man, I didn't look at it. I just picked it up and I put it on the chair. An hour and a half later, she came home. She said, what did you buy yourself? So I didn't buy myself anything. I thought you bought something. She said, we don't have any money. I didn't buy anything. And then I was like, well, what is this? And it said it was from like Brian Johnson out of Kentucky.
Are you serious?
Like that. Yeah, I have it upstairs. And I was like, I don't know what this is. This is freaking me out, man. What did somebody send me? And I started cracking the box open. And then in the box, there was an inner box. And the inner box had some weird, funky stuff on it that I didn't take a picture of yet. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. She said, did you order a computer? No, I'm telling you, I didn't order a computer. Then when I crack the case, I see solid black. I was like, oh, it's the Chrome OS.
Did she understand the magnitude of what just happened?
Absolutely not. She just thought I was being a big dork.
Oh, man.
So I'm happy to say I'm one of the few people out there with a Chrome OS netbook. And I can tell you right off the bat, I have a quick grump that I'm going to have to let them know about.
Okay. Tell us. Wait. First of all, do you get to keep that?
From the best of my ability. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing in anywhere I read said anything about returning. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, when I finished the sign up, it let me sign up for Verizon. 100 megabytes of data free a month. And it said for 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
But of course, I don't worry about the limitation because I got this little puppy rooted with Wi-Fi tether.
Right. All right, well, what's your grump?
The grump is that the keys themselves, let me do this. The keys themselves are like the letters on the keys are too light and they're not contrasty enough and they're not backlit. So they're a little bit difficult to see unless you're in bright light, or you do the old laptop trick of lower the screen so you can see the keys from the light.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you hold the touchpad up to the screen?
Well, this is what I wanted to show you first.
Is that the friggin' battery?
That's the hole where the battery goes. That's how big the frigging battery is.
That's why the thing's so heavy.
Well, and this isn't really physically that heavy. I mean, I don't see any weight on it, but honestly, I would say the battery's only like, it's less than half of the weight of the device.
Dor, you deserve this thing, man. You take that zip it. I want to see a video of you run over that thing with your car now that you have this thing.
Right. The touchpad is very Mac OS.
It looks like an HP touchpad. Oh, no, touchpad. Touchpad. The keys look like an HP, newer HPs. Touchpad, yeah, it doesn't look like an HP. How is it? How's the touchpad?
Honestly, I'm new to the Mac style touchpad. I believe this is a very Mac-ish touchpad.
I see. Yeah, there's no buttons on it. Okay.
Right, and it has 2 fingers down to scroll, 2 fingers tap to right click. 1 click is just one. It's just the normal click. If you go to doortodoorgeek.com/Chrome OS, I set up a gallery, and I'll tell you, the gallery I use, there's a link at the bottom. It's called Easy Ajax album. Anybody can set up a gallery like this. All you do is you drop a PHP file in a directory, you drop your pictures in the directory, and you're done. You don't do anything else. I didn't rotate the first picture because I didn't have time. But if you click, if you're at doortodoorgeek.com/Chrome OS, in the very top bar, it says Home Chrome OS Netbook. Then there's 3 icons. One is like a tic-tac-toe, 9 squares. Then there's a big square with 3 squares. And then there's 1 big square. If you hit the 1 big square, it takes you to a slideshow-esque presentation where there's buttons on the top right to easily scroll through.
I see.
I will rotate the pictures back again. With the Droid X camera, I got to say the pictures came across very well. All the pictures are from the first boot up until I'm ready to go and with the wheels rolling. There's a long intro that you really don't need to go through.
Yeah.
But a couple of the screens told me what was going on because the 2-finger scroll I would not have figured out if I didn't read it.
Jerry asked in the chat room if you tried loading Windows on it yet. That's pretty funny, Jerry.
But there is a hack to put Ubuntu on it.
I mean, yeah, why do that?
I'm not. Well, let me retain that because you can never say never, even though I just said it twice. I'm going to use this as long as I possibly can, and if it turns out I do own it, because honestly, I don't expect to get something saying you have to send it back. I really don't.
Right.
If it turns out I do own it, then maybe in 6, 8 months or a year, I'll try to put Ubuntu on it. But there's no reason for me to do it right now.
Is it fast?
It is pretty snappily fast. Heavy flash pages like Justin TV/Podnutz took a second to load. I have a laptop upstairs, 2.8 gigahertz, 2 gigs of RAM. It's like that much close comparison in loading a heavy page. You know, bang, bang. It's really hard to notice. But on the light pages, this thing is instantaneous.
Damn. How long is battery life?
I don't know, man. I'm guessing it's good. I'm guessing it's good unless you turn on the 3G antenna, and then I'm sure it sharply decreases.
Dude, that's so awesome. So awesome. Good job, Dor. Good job.
And I'll tell everybody, all I did, I answered everything utterly honesty, and I don't want to pull out this line, but I will. I kept it real. In the very last box, it said, tell us something about you, or something to that effect. And I said, I am a state employee, father on a limited budget, but I am a hardcore family man, a a ridiculous tech enthusiast, and I love computers, the web, and Linux. I didn't say anything in there about lying about, I'm best friends with Barack Obama, or, I didn't say anything that wasn't truthful.
Very good.
And literally 7 days after I filled it out, bang, it's on my doorstep.
Super awesome. Super awesome.
Right. Now, the two things I'll point out that I appreciate about the device greatly, there's no caps lock.
Yeah.
Anywhere. There's a little magnifying glass key where the caps lock would be that you hit it and it brings up a brand new tab.
Sweet.
Where the function keys typically are, they're not function keys. They're escape, forward, backwards, refresh, full screen mode.
Thank goodness.
I don't know what that is, but it's bumping the side of the screen.
Who the hell uses function keys anymore?
I don't know. Dim down, dim up, mute, up volume, down volume.
I want one. All right, tell us more. Tell us more. What?
I'm not shipping it to you, Steve.
No, I wasn't suggesting. Dor, I have to say, I was going to say, if I did get one, I would definitely consider shipping it to you. Because you would tinker with, you would use it much more than I would. And you would be a good beta person for this thing, I think.
I'm going to blow it up. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to burn it up. It is going to be begging for forgiveness in a matter of days. And I'll say there is no caps lock key, but there is a shift key. Because
you need caps for some things.
Well, you got to have caps once in a while, but I told my wife, I said, she'll hate it. And she said, why? I said, because you can't type in all caps.
Does she do that?
Oh, constantly. Every time she sends me an email, I respond back, please take the caps off. Please.
Man. She doesn't get it. She thinks that you're being like nasty. She doesn't know.
I'm being anal.
Yeah, I think you're being anal.
All right. The one thing I'm really looking forward to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to buying some educational apps and letting my 5-year-old go to town on it.
Wow.
Because the couple I looked at, they're like $1.99. That's where this differs than the Android marketplace. Is there is things in here that cost money.
But there's kids games that you could buy that already exist in the marketplace?
Yeah.
Very cool.
The one I was looking at, I can't see. Hold on. Let me see this first. I wanted to find this one game. I want to say it's called WGT. If you go to that chrome.google.com/app store, I believe it's called, and you search for GT, yeah, just look for golf. We'll find it together. Golf.
Like Tiger Woods?
No. It's like GTG or something like that. GTW, Grand World Tour. WGT Golf Challenge. Okay. There's actually 2 of them. I want everybody to look at that, and it's at WGT.com. You go to that website, you look at this game, you are not going to believe this is a in-browser game that you do not have to download a DVD ISO and install.
Okay, what's the name of the game again?
WGT. They have Golf Challenge.
I gotcha. Got it.
And they have Golf Game, and they have Edgewood Hole 17. They have a whole bunch of them. There's free ones, and I believe there's only one that costs money.
That looks pretty cool. Like graphics look phenomenal.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I honestly believe a lot of people aren't going to believe what kind of stuff you can do in a browser.
Right. Looks amazing.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm looking forward to, and I'm not going to say flash gaming experience because we all know flash games like Punch the Monkey, they ain't fun. You know, I believe this is going to get a certain amount of weight behind it to where developers are going to look forward to do this kind of stuff, and they're going to look forward to make stuff that's cool.
I believe Google is really on the right track with this. I really do.
And one thing I noticed that I don't truly understand yet because I've literally only had it booted up for maybe an hour. When you go to a new page, it does your typical Chrome thing, but the desktop Chrome shows you links from places you've been. This one shows you links of icons, and if you buy an app, it will also appear there. One of them built in is called Scratchpad, which if I'm thinking what I'm thinking, this is going to be a heavily abused app, and it looks like it's just a little, almost like a add-on to Firefox, where in the bottom status bar you have a little icon, where Google Notepad used to be like that.
Right.
That's what it looks like this is. This looks like it's a little scratch pad you can keep in the bottom corner of your browser, and anytime you want to type stuff, you just bang go.
Hey, I always like convenient notepads.
Yeah, Google Notepad, I used it for like 2 months, and I said, this is really good, but I heard nobody else talking about it, so I stopped using it because I knew they were going to kill it.
Yep, you're right.
And I didn't want to be that guy out.
Yep.
One thing I really liked, and I kind of expected this, the split second I logged in, automatically, all my bookmarks and all my passwords and everything that I do on my laptops and desktop automatically got synced over from Chrome.
Nice.
So that's another reason to use the Chrome browser.
And can you install Chrome add-ons into that browser, like LastPass and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I already have them installed on my desktop Chrome. They're already installed here.
Neat.
I already see Chrome to phone, and Android to cloud, which I gotta uninstall because I don't need that thing anymore.
I can't believe that. That's so awesome. You got that thing.
And I gotta tell you, weight wise, it's definitely a little heavy, but it's respectable. Width wise, I think it's good. It ain't MacBook Air.
No, it looks like a MacBook sized.
Right.
Looks MacBook.
It just has a touch, just a touch of width to it.
Yeah, it's good.
It also does come with one USB, which should sound familiar. Comes with a SD slot on it as well. Very smooth into the device. It looks like it's an audio headset jack and an external VGA jack. So that's what that one button might have been, where it was like pushing the monitor. Might have been for like multi-monitor acknowledgement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't think of the right word. And something else I thought was a plus. That's the size of the brick.
Nice.
I know, because to me, there was more than a couple like Dell models of computers that we got at my 9 to 5. Slim computers, this computer, that computer. And the brick weighed as much as a computer. And it was seriously like 4 inches by 6 inches. It was so
Serious.
big.
Wow.
Yeah. So to be honest, I'm going to play with this a great deal. And I'm going to try to report back some stuff next week. The only other thing I wanted to point out was in the upper right-hand corner where you would typically have your X, time, network, and battery. I really like when you go to network settings, it basically launches a web page with very dynamic controls to disconnect from your Wi-Fi, connect to Verizon Wireless, remembered networks.
All from a browser.
All from a browser. Customize input, touchpad settings. On startup, do you want to restart the last pages? Add accounts, restrict accounts. So if I took this down, I could say smdsteve.at gmail.com can never log into my device. But I wouldn't do that.
Dor, what happens when you go over your limit, your Verizon limit?
What I'm guessing is going to happen is basically, because it was very integrated, getting Verizon up and running.
Mm-hmm.
I had pop-ups in the page that were customized from Verizon for Google. So there's a definite hand-in-hand partnership going on. I can bet my life on it. I will basically get a pop-up
saying, sorry, you exceeded your limit.
And you knowing me, by tomorrow, 10 a.m., I'll exceed my limit.
No, that's why I was curious. If anybody's going to exceed his limit, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
But no worries for you with your Droid X with high tethering.
Right. So I'm going to purposely do what I can to blow out the megabytes, which, download not even a whole Linux ISO, and I'm going to blow that out.
How much is the limit? 100 meg?
100 meg.
Gotcha.
And then I can buy more on a day-to-day basis. It was kind of expensive. It was unlimited for $10 a day. And then it was by the gigabyte. I want to say it was $10 for 1 gig, $20 for 2 gig, $30 for 3 gig.
I see. That seems to be the going rate, Galaxy Tab wise and such.
I know, and that's why I'm not upset, because it's not like they're raking you over the coals with it. It's par for the course. Granted, I don't like that.
It's par for the course of being raked over the coals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're getting raked over the coals, and you look, and well, everybody else is too. So I guess I don't feel as bad.
Right. It's true. I actually did, because I was thinking about getting the Galaxy Tab, and I called Sprint and I tried to get a deal on my plan, and they wouldn't give it to me. Nope, they would not. I even went to the retention department. When you're on call on Sprint and you get to the retention department and you say the word Verizon, usually they snap up and give you mostly what you want, but it didn't work in this case. There's no specials being offered. They said maybe next year, at the beginning of the year, we might have some specials, but
jeez.
I'm not a waiter, so I'm not going to wait. We'll see.
I know. Honestly, I can't blame you. The only news I have on that front, and I'm going to talk about it because it's Linux, the Motorola tablet is supposedly going to have a launch party right before or during the Super Bowl. So the end of January is what they're saying now.
I can't find a good picture of that thing. Does it have a special name?
Yes, it did, and no, I cannot remember. Motorola tablet. Yeah, just Motorola tablet. Should do it. Super Bowl launch possible from Motorola Everest Stingray.
That's the dumb name for it?
It looks like it, yeah.
No.
Everest. I think Everest is the real name. Stingray is like the undercover name.
Gotcha. The Motorola Everest?
Mm-hmm.
Still sounds dumb.
I didn't say it sounded good. Well, Motorola, as I think everybody should know by now, is horrible at naming conventions and branding. Not as bad as Samsung, but they're pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And
wait, it looks like it looks iPad size. It's not tab sized.
I didn't say tab.
Oh.
I just said tablet.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember, honestly. I did read it. I know it's going to come in 2 sizes.
Oh, okay.
I'm 99% sure. 7-inch and 10-inch.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're, I guess, trying to cover both bases.
I see. All righty.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be an interesting device. I think the main thing it's going to have going for it is it's going to be running a newer from the gate, right out the gate.
Honeycomb?
But for all we know, yeah, Honeycomb. But for all we know, the Samsung Galaxy Tab in 2 weeks could be updated.
Well,
because
that's the problem. The word could. There's no definite that it's going to be Honeycomb compatible. I wish it.
Well, I can tell you, I feel pretty safe in saying it's going to be Honeycomb compatible enough to get the update. But the question is going to be is when is the manufacturer and the carrier going to be ready to push it out?
I would have to imagine too that they would do it fast. I mean, Samsung's on the ball. They basically came back from being this cheapy brand that nobody ever wanted to buy to the ultimate TV brand now. So I think that they are, and they're making laptops now. They're on the ball. I can't imagine that it's going to take a long time to get this out.
Right.
It might be Sprint being the problem, but no, I don't think it's going to be Samsung.
Right. So I just got to follow this up with one thing. Last week you said I was a Google fanboy and I was making excuses for him.
Yes.
That wasn't the case. I was being very honest about everything. Now you can call me a fanboy because I'm not going to say anything bad about them.
No, I don't think you're a fanboy now. The first thing you talked about with that notebook is you were bummed out about something.
The light, it really made me mad. Because I'm sitting in my house. My house isn't dark. I mean, I don't have spotlights over my shoulder.
No, but
it's not dark.
Right. A fanboy would have said, I think they made the keys lighter to help eye strain or something like that. That's what a fanboy would have said. You're not a fanboy. Not today. Not today, anyway.
Not today. The one thing I'll tell you that it did not do, which I can tell you is a technology that I became utterly hooked on this last week, is a Gmail service not offered by Google, but it's called Boomerang.
Okay.
This product has been integrated into my life just as much and just as quick as my Android phone. Just real quick, you start an email. I start an email to myself to remind myself about something tomorrow morning. I start it, I hit save. I don't hit send. Then right where I go to compose, there's a Boomerang drop-down menu right next to the Save Now button. And I can say, Boomerang, send it to me tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yes. Yeah, I did hear about that.
And the inverse is true. Somebody sends you an email and you say, I can't do that right now, but if I leave it there, I'm going to forget about it. Like, this is what SMD Steve needs. And I'm going to forget about it. I can Boomerang it and say, send it back to me in 2 hours. And it literally is gone from your inbox. You cannot find it. It's not in your inbox. And then 2 hours later, it just pops up like a brand new email.
Right, like a brand new email. That's kind of cool. I have such a good system, though, with just using my priority mailbox and starring. I star all the emails I need to address later. And then I just go into my priority inbox and I see all the ones that are starred. And I just answer them. I don't need the Boomerang. I don't need it.
Well, I need it because right now in my priority inbox, I have 37 emails. And it's been, 25. And it's been over 20 now for more than 2 weeks. Because some of them, this is my crutch, are time sensitive. They're emails that have important things related to something I want to talk about on the podcast. So I keep them there until they're ready to be dumped into the notes.
That's fine. I'll tell you what, though. When I star my, the only thing I keep in my priority mailbox is starred emails. I don't use the priority mail feature. I don't let Google determine what's priority or not. I star it, and then I just put everything in the priority mailbox. So only thing I have in my priority mail inbox are starred emails, because I go through all my new emails and I star them if they're important, and I can't answer them right away. If I don't, then they just don't go in there. So I don't need Boomerang, but I heard about it. I think it's kind of cool. People might be able to get some benefit out of it.
Right.
The problem, wait, hold on, Dor. Sorry. The problem is double work. If you read an email and then you have it sent back to you, you have to read it again and again. Like, you don't want to create double work for yourself. So I'm not a big fan of Boomerang, actually, but people might find it useful.
Well, I can tell you, with me, the thing is, I don't read the email. I just see who it's from. And I have a good idea how much time it's going to take me based on who it's from. Right. If it's a computer repair submission, I can't deal with it right now. Mm-hmm. I know it's somebody asking, how do I fix something? How can I contact you? Something like that. Right. So bring it back to me in an hour. I got a meeting to go to. Because after the meeting, I won't look at my email. I'll forget about it.
Gotcha.
I can pop back. So that's my lazy way of abusing it.
Gotcha.
I kind of don't want to turn this into the Google show because I haven't had a lot of time with the device.
It's fine. I mean, you did prepare notes before you got your package, right?
Yeah. What I actually wanted to do, I think the first topic is going to be a bit long for how much time we have left.
Okay. Let me guess. Home screens for Android.
No, man. No. I'm done with them for a while.
Sorry, Dor. What? No, we'll do whatever you want to do.
We got an email from Bob Santos.
Oh yeah, I have that too. I marked it to be read. In fact.
Yeah.
Want me to read it?
Sure.
Bob says, Steve and Steve, love the podcast. A few weeks back, you were talking about Linux games. I was on the website stumbleupon.com, and it brought me to this great page listing Linux games, and I thought you guys might be interested in it. And the website is iculus.org. Okay, I'm just going to read this straight up. iculus.org.lgfaq iculus.org/lgfaq/gamelist.php. We will put that in the show notes. But if you go to icculus.org, that's the site. He says, you guys do such a great podcast. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Bob. Comment?
Yeah. This is a site, to be honest. Well, first off, I'll say Stumble Upon, to me, is still an internet gem. There are a lot of people out there that don't use it. You just got a couple minutes on your hand. You can either go to video.stumbleupon.com or just stumbleupon.com and just put in a topic that you're interested in today, whether it's gaming, hacking, Linux, modding. The limits are really astronomical. And then you can just go next, and just see all these sites based on that topic. I still to this day abuse it, and I have a Stumble Upon app on my phone.
Really?
When I have free time at a doctor's office for 5-10 minutes, I'll just launch the app. I'll go into one of the categories I have predefined and just go next till I find something I like.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit better than Google because with Google, it has to have traffic and it has to be popular for it to rank high.
Yeah.
The quality of the site is almost irrelevant. I say almost because you do have to be good to get up high, but not all sites that are good are up high.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
So,
especially new sites or sites that are not discovered yet.
Right. I did like this site just because of how you could easily filter the games on a lot of different topics. The only bad thing I got to say about this site is some of the links to the software are dead links because they're not developed anymore. But most of them I tried did work.
I see. Looks cool. Wow, it's a huge list.
Right now, the only thing I'll say missing from this page is visuals of what the game is.
Yeah, but they do. I mean, of course, I'm a screenshot dude, but they do give links.
Right. One of the sites that I found right after I got this email is a site called Peng You Spy. Hi, Billy. I love you, buddy. Do you want to say good night to everybody?
Hi, Billy.
Do you want to say good night to everybody?
Yeah. Good night.
Wow.
Good night, Billy.
Hey, hold on. He hit my head. Yeah. Love you. Are you going to be good tomorrow? Promise I'll keep going tomorrow, okay? I know you had a green day. I'll come up and I'll give you one later. Okay? Okay. I love you, buddy. Dang, he almost cried.
What did he want?
He wanted a shoulder ride.
Oh.
I said, you can have one later. He said, but I had a green day today. You'll get one later. I spoil him too much anyway.
Awesome.
Back on topic. The site I found literally almost the same day I got that email from you is a site called Peng You Spy. PENGUSPY.com. This site is all about the graphical
look at that.
Screenshots.
Pretty stuff.
Right. And I liked how they had everything sorted. Like MMORPG, for instance, they have 11 of them. The reason I like that is that's a realistic number of higher quality games.
How did you find this site? This is a great site.
Honestly, it was either Stumble Upon or it was in irc.freenode.net #AugCastPlanet, which is a IRC channel where Klaatu hangs out at. I think I might have got it from there, to tell you the truth. This site, to me, if you have enough juice in your box, this could be the site that really makes your computer experience back to being gaming enjoyable and fun
on
Linux, because I'm not going to say they don't have games. It's sometimes hard to filter through the games.
Right.
It's like the Atari 2600, I'll say, where they had some pretty bad games.
Yes, they did.
Linux has some pretty bad games. I will be the first one to say
so does
that.
any platform.
Yeah. The one game, honestly, I saw that I really liked was in MMORPG, and I'm not a fan of them, but the game called The Mana World, to me, looked like it could be a very visually pleasing and fun game.
You're into the whole this style, aren't you?
Apparently, I am. Yeah.
This seems like a very door game. It
Yeah,
seems
like
like our door is gate / Ultima / door
Dude,
type Final Fantasy.
I tried playing Ultima, but I'm not paying a monthly fee. So the new Ultima, the online ones, I never played, but Ultima Exodus, Ultima Quest for the Avatar, all those I conquered.
I didn't know they still made Ultima games.
They had an Ultima Online. I don't know if it's still being sold.
Gotcha.
But I wasn't paying $30 a month for anything.
No way.
It was expensive. But cool. I highly encourage people, go here, tell me what game I'm missing that I should be playing, because honestly, every game I'm looking at, they look good.
Yeah,
I mean, the first-person shooters look ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. It's a great site.
Yeah, and now, see, the next site was one I found literally a couple days after that, but I didn't realize it's already on this site. It's on their first-person shooter. It's the very first one listed, because I think it's the first one listed is the most recently one listed, and it's called True Combat Elite. Ubuntu Gamer did a posting on it. And this site, to be honest, is most of the time very fair about the quality of a game. When something doesn't meet quite standards, they have really few issues with telling you where it's falling short. And they said some pretty positive things about it. To me, one of the biggest pluses about this game, true cross-platform. You're actually playing guys on other operating systems.
Wow, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
looks great. Looks fantastic.
I'm not saying it's Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Black Ops, Trojan Down, or whatever it's called, but this looks good, and you don't have to pay exorbitant fees. Wait in line out in the cold with a bunch of guys that live with their mother. In a van.
Send
down
hate mail to doortodoorgeek@gmail.com, please.
They can, because I've been there.
That's hilarious, Door. Good stuff.
Yeah, so basically every month or so, I'm going to throw out another game site that I find, because the games on Linux really are evolving to me at a very quick rate, and the game sites are doing everything they can to keep up with fresh listings of games.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. Next thing I wanted to talk about was right beneath that, and I gotta say, I can pretty much figure out virtually everything I set my mind to on a computer. I mean, I understand the basis of a Windows registry. I understand the boot sequence of a Linux computer. But I gotta say, SSH keys are giving me such a tumor, Steve.
Really?
And I think the issue is, I want to do this with my web server. Quick backstory. Back on the very first episode, I mentioned the HPR, Hacker Public Radio broadcast, where the guy explained how he was doing backups from computers to computers with rsync, SSH keys, and cron to do automatic backup, like Carbonite-esque syncing between computers.
He's basically how to make your own Dropbox.
Well, then a couple weeks ago, I mentioned this. It's how to make your own open source Dropbox-like sync and backup service.
Gotcha.
The biggest advantage to this is, to me, you have folders anywhere you want on any computers you're at, and they will sync to your personal web server. You don't have to worry about some other company looking at your data, handling your data, going out of business, or anything else. this is under your complete control. Well, the basis of this thing relies on a SSH connection. SSH, for those who don't know, there are multiple ways to connect to your website. You can just go through HTTP or HTTPS, or you can go through FTP. You can go through WebDAV. You can go through SFTP. You can go through FTPS. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways to connect to your web server.
Right.
SSH is a very, very secure way of doing it. The advantage is it's like on Windows opening up a command prompt, which Windows users say, what's the advantage to that? You have command line access to the operating system on your web server, which means you can customize it, install things, run applications, not just connect to it and drop off files.
I see.
Hi, Billy.
I wish you would come up here and give me a shoulder ride.
If you go to bed, I promise I'll go up and I'll give you a shoulder ride around upstairs.
How can you do that?
Because I'm amazing. Okay. Sorry, Steve.
That's okay.
And SSH is flexible. It means once you log in via scripts and commands, you can copy files, move files, install software, anything you can do on your computer just about. You could even install something to offload the transcoding of videos onto your web server.
Huh.
Now, my web host is SiteGround. SITEGROUND. Main reason I went to them is they understand SEO and they pwned Drupal web hosting. You search for Drupal web host and they are right there.
Okay.
Every time. And I wanted to get into Drupal, so I figured if they can understand SEO and put that much devotion on SEO for Drupal web hosting, they obviously know how to handle it and support it when I have questions.
Right.
And they do a great job with Drupal. Tremendous job with Drupal. The only way for me to create a SSH key pair, which is a private key and a public key, is through a web interface, through a web application on their servers called cPanel.
I love cPanel.
Which is, oh, dude, if I didn't have cPanel, where would this world be today?
I know. Tell me about it.
Via cPanel and Fantastico, to me, are the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Of website configuration management. Makes it easy to add FTP users, regular users, subdomains.
You know what it makes it easy to do, Dor? Delete Drupal installations from your site, which when you noticed Podnutz was down about a week ago, I accidentally deleted my whole Drupal installation from I used Fantastico through cPanel. I go, what's that Drupal installation doing there? I don't recognize that. Boom, Podnutz gone. If it wasn't for their freaking backups at HostGator, I would have lost everything. So,
well, okay, you need to Google Drupal backup migrate, and it's a module you can install that'll automatically schedule backups.
Okay, good.
It's a good thing to have.
I will do that.
But it's a little bit restricted on how I create web keys. Me being a total SSH cert noob, and I'm just paint me green, I'm such a noob. I don't comprehend them. Every tutorial I find online gives examples of me logging into this computer, creating the keys via command lines, and then me going to this computer and doing what I need to do on that computer. Not through this web interface, and the verbiages don't exactly match.
Yeah.
I am having such an uncommonly hard time getting an SSH connection to my web server. So I still can't do this.
Oh, man.
And it's making me upset.
Aren't you enjoying Pogo Plug?
I am, but I would really like to have my Pogo Plug syncing to that as well.
I see.
Just because my Pogo Plug right now is just using a 16 gig thumb drive, and we know from listening to Scott what happens to thumb drives over time.
Right.
Now I say info lookup. He's a guy, honestly, I can't believe hasn't been on the show yet. Trust me, I've hammered him, but he doesn't listen to me with that. He is a very smart guy who does college or campus security, IT security. Pretty sharp guy on the side. He fixes computers. I begged him, which I didn't have to. He cut me off and said he would help me. I'm going to do something that no one should ever do, but I trust him absurdly. I'm going to go through that web interface. I'm going to copy every piece of data off that web interface, and I'm going to email it to him. So he will have public key, private key, every bit of secure information to my web server, to where if he wanted to, he could log in and delete everything and change the password and change the DNS records and take me days to get that stuff back.
Or just Twitter it.
Right, exactly. But I know he's a good guy.
Right.
I know if anyone can make sense of the two differencing explanations of stuff, he's going to get me back up and running.
Okay.
But for people at home who don't have the time for this kind of thing, I do have a link to linuxlinks.com, and the page is entitled 7 of the Best Free Linux Online Backup Solutions. Not surprisingly, number 1 in this list is Dropbox. But there's more. The only thing people really know and focus on is Dropbox, and Dropbox is good, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you got to be aware of what some of the things that they're doing. For instance, if your Dropbox folder is a folder on your desktop, Dropbox is quietly uploading everything in the surrounding folders.
It is
keeping them in a cache, where if you have a terabyte size file on your desktop, you install the Dropbox folder on your desktop next to that file.
Yeah.
Then you leave your computer on for like 3 days, 4 days, and then you drag that folder and then you drag that huge file into your Dropbox. It will instantly be uploaded.
Why?
It will defy the laws of space and time, it will seem.
Why does it do that? Just to predict? It's just trying to predict what you're eventually going to upload?
Yeah, and if you always copy from certain folders to that folder, it will then start to cache that folder.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I honestly don't believe they have any bad intentions whatsoever. They want to give you a better experience. But at the same time, they're doing stuff that they don't announce and they don't make clear, and that's the only thing I don't like about them.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, bandwidth is precious these days.
It can be. If you live in Australia or someplace where you have like a 2 gig file cap every month,
yeah,
this could kill you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. One of the other choices is a solution called Spider Oak, and Spider Oak is a open source approach to this. It's very similar to Dropbox, but it gives you a little bit of extra options. You basically, this is the one I'm 99% sure, if you share 20 gigs of your hard drive space, that means a 20 gig block of your hard drive space will turn into a file that is indecipherable. Now, if you know encryption, if there's nothing in an encrypted file or there's something in an encrypted file, it takes up the exact same amount of space because it's all just random noise. You can't tell the difference.
Right.
So you give them 20 gigs, a block of your drive is now unusable to you, but you're sharing it with the community. And you then get rights to copy from your hard drive 20 gigs up to their shared cloud. Everything is encrypted on the transmitting end. So when you're sharing something, it is encrypted before it gets sent over the net. So nobody on the other side of the chain can tell what you're sharing.
I see.
I've heard very mixed things about this in the very, very, very beginning when it was alpha, about some issues, bombing, crashing, just the program disappearing from memory kind of thing. But in the last 4 months, I've heard no one say negative things about it, and I've heard only positive things about it.
Really?
Yeah, so I feel pretty safe in recommending it.
Okay.
Um,
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. The next one is called Wahula. Wahula?
It looks like it is. I got to do a back here.
Viola. It says it's pronounced like the French viola, which means see there.
Really?
Sure, if they say so.
Voila. Voila.
Well, thank you very much. I honestly think this is the interface that could be most simplistic to people who are new to this concept. I did install this one and I did run this one for a couple days. I found it very obvious what was going on in this program and how to change settings, how to make sure what you wanted was getting backed up.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Right. And they do have quote unquote pro features. I believe they were affordable, but I cannot quote prices off the top of my head. But we all know Dropbox, to be quite frank, is kind of expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
I believe this was very comparable. The next one is Ubuntu One, the good and the bad. You're not on Ubuntu or Kubuntu or Shabuntu or Lubuntu or Ubuntu. You ain't going to run this. I believe you can install it on Debian-based operating systems, but it's not perfect, I'll say. And even on Ubuntu, I can tell you up until this last edition, it was a little flaky. For free, I believe you had 2 gigabytes, and they had a same near high rate as Dropbox.
Okay.
The only plus is it's integrated into the operating system.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. This next one, honestly, I never had a chance to try. I just did a little bit of reading up on it. I don't know who would fit this need, and I honestly did not see a paid version on this.
Zumo Drive?
Yeah, but this one I believe was also the same kind where you had to trade off hard disk space.
I see.
So you could do it. Now, the one thing about this and Spider Oak, I'm 99% sure, you don't know who you're sharing it with. You just say share. You could be sharing it with Barack Obama, Osama bin Laden, to guy two doors down from your house. You know, you don't know. You're just sharing it. The next one is one that I believe we talked about on this show, and that is Crash Plan.
Yes.
This is the one, to be honest, if I was Scott, I would take another look at, just because of the level of control and security you have, and the fact that this is the only one I know of that is truly cross-platform. The other good thing about this is you if you don't do the pro options where you back it up to their servers, if you just back it up to other people's servers, quote unquote,
Right.
you know exactly who you're backing them up to.
Right.
You can have every one of your laptops, desktops with this installed, and you can back up to each other. And you know exactly where your data is at all times. The other thing I really liked about this one, you could put in a Twitter account, not a username password, just a Twitter account.
Yeah.
And if your backup was not successful, you would get a tweet, or you would get a direct message, I believe it was.
Oh, really?
Telling you it's been 12 hours since your last backup.
Cool.
Yeah, that kind of impressed me. At the same time, only people with Twitter are going to take advantage of it. So if you don't have Twitter, what's the point?
Everybody has to have Twitter now by now.
I know. Well, they just released a thing that said, I believe, 8% of America is on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it would have been more.
Yeah,
Shows
me
you what
too.
I.
Me too.
Yeah. This is the one. Honestly, I'm tempted to look at this coming week. I didn't get time to check it out. Had a little bit busy week. Fun but busy. I liked the look of this one just because it had an enterprise solution. So if you are a small business just starting out, this might be one where you could look at being a reseller. And good thing about this is it looks like you have a lot of control over the setup and the configuration.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second, Steve.
Yep, no problem.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we're ready. You ready now?
Yep.
And go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want people to just think, you're only locked into these couple solutions. If you have trouble finding them yourselves, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help somebody find it. And if people haven't noticed by now, I thrive off of emails. Without emails, I'm kind of like roaming around, bumping into walls for topics. It's just like, what do I feel like talking about tomorrow kind of thing. When I get emails, I at least have direction.
Hey, that sounds good. Let's announce your email address just in case anybody does not know it yet.
Okay, well, I'll go through the whole gambit.
Okay.
doortodoorgeek@gmail.com, doortodoorgeek@podnutz.com.
Is this an order of preference?
No, random,
Okay.
Totally random.
Okay.
Just like the rest of my life. Twitter.com/doortodoorgeek. Identica /doortodoorgeek. Podnutz forums, doortodoorgeek. doortodoorgeek.com. There's a couple more. Just can't think of them right now.
That's all right. That's enough, I think. If you can't reach them by then you need help communicating on the internet.
Right, and I'll just throw this out there. A couple times in the past, Steve, because of Tech Site Builder, I got podnutzers calling me up on my phone, seemingly out of random, thanking me and thanking you for what you've been doing.
Wow.
I had William at Gem State Computers, I know, was one of the guys. And I know I had at least 3 or 4 other guys just clear out of the blue one day. I looked down at my phone, it's area code I don't never heard of before. And then I answer and they're like, "Hey, Steve." And he says, "Yeah, man, I can't thank you and Steve enough. Because of you guys, I've been learning a lot. I started my own business. Things are going good." To which I always say, well, sign up for Podnutz Daily.
Right. No, that's great. Thank you guys for anybody who has called Door and told them that. And thank you, Door, of course.
Yeah, I have fun, man. I think there's just one last thing to cover. Yeah, we're going to go back to this, I guess, randomly. Folders in Linux. I'm 99% sure I've never covered any of these folders. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. Folders in Linux, for one, let me just say, completely different than in Windows. If we would have gotten the WinFS file system that we were supposed to get and been promised to get by Microsoft for Windows for 7 years now, then Windows users would know and understand this format of a file system much more. And the most important thing you got to know is when you're looking at a Linux computer, an Android device, a Chrome tablet, a TiVo, or anything else, there's no C drive, there's no D drive, there's no E drive, there's no A drive. There's a slash, and the slash is the root of everything that computer or device can possibly see.
Okay.
It's just called the root directory. It's slash. If you have CD drives, if you have floppy drives, if you have USB drives, if you have network drives, they're going to be somewhere in that file system after root. So like root/media, root/devices, something like that. But everything is going to be under root. Imagine, if you will, C:\floppy, C:\CD drive, instead of having to jump around from letter to letter.
Right.
Root is where everything starts from.
Okay.
Period. First thing you got to know.
Got it.
The next folder we're going to cover is a folder called boot, B-O-O-T. And everybody should know or have a good idea. This is where everything that is needed, that is essential, that is vital for the computer or device to boot, not to run, just to successfully boot, is in that folder. And only things you need to be successful to boot is a Linux kernel and Lilo or Grub. Lilo and Grub, and there's a couple more. They're the boot managers. Like as soon as you boot up and you hit F8 in Windows and you see the choices, safe mode, all this kind of thing,
Right.
that's a boot manager. It's just you never see it in Windows until something goes wrong.
I see.
In the Linux world, a lot of operating systems use Grub as their default boot manager. From there, you can pause the boot, edit the boot sequence, boot in a different way, boot in a safer mode, boot in a previous kernel. So that's necessary to boot. And then it's just the kernel. There's no GUI, there's no desktop, there's no applications in that boot sector.
Gotcha.
None of that is necessary to boot whatsoever. It's needed from an end user standpoint for the computer to be functional, but functional and boot is two different things.
Huh. So the kernel is in the boot folder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The next folder is called bin. There's a lot of subfolders in bin. But the main thing you got to know and understand about bin is bin contains the executable files that are part of the Linux operating system, including commands. Like if you go into a Windows terminal and type copy file space file, copy is an executable. A lot of people might not think of it that way, but everything you type in any kind of a terminal or command prompt is actually an executable, or it's a sub part of an executable.
I see.
In Linux, it's a very modularized operating system, which means a lot of it is in little parts. The reason it's very easy to upgrade, it's very easy to take away, it's very easy to add to it, making it scalable.
I see.
So even copy, move, list a directory, everything is its own executable, and they're in that bin directory. A lot of times when you install system applications like Apache or something that runs as a service, almost always go in the bin directory. End user executables, it's up to the developer whether they go in that folder or they go in another folder called USR, which we'll get into on a different podcast.
Cool.
But bin is like Windows System 32, I guess I'd say.
Right. Neat. This is very good basic stuff that I learned. I had no idea about that. So I learned 3 things right there.
Yeah, and honestly, almost the beautiful thing I'll say, and this is really not me being a fanboy, but for the most part, you don't need to understand anything about the Linux file system to use Linux for years. The only time you need to know about them is if you install something and then it doesn't put a shortcut anywhere.
Right.
Which, if you're installing it from the repos, I've never seen happen. But once in a while, you go out of the repos and you download something and you install it, and then okay, how do I run it?
Right.
And then you got to figure out how to make a launcher. Okay, where's the file at? That's when you need to know this kind of stuff. Or if you want to map a special network drive that is a little bit more complex, you don't really need to know it, but it's the kind of thing it should trickle in as you learn. You should not just sit there and say, today I'm going to learn the Linux file system. Just won't work like that.
It's good stuff, Dor.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Want to go over anything else?
Not really.
You want to play with your toy?
No, I'm okay.
Remember, you got to give your kid a shoulder ride. You can't just immediately go play with your Google Notebook.
Well, I can hold it while I'm giving him a shoulder ride.
All right. Well, if you want to, like Dor said, if you want to email us, you can email him directly at door-to-doorgeek@gmail.com or the other places he said. Or you can email us at mail@podnutz.com. We'll read it on the show. If you want to send us a voicemail to be played on the show, call us, 7076-PODNUT. We will be happy to play that for you. And come watch us live. You know, if you want to see some video action, we do the show every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check us out. We will be right on the homepage at podnutz.com. That's going to be it for Linux for the rest of us today. We'll see everybody next time.